Hello. It is in the buff, and we are discuss the trade deadline, the Cardinals. What didn't they do? Who's to blame? Who's getting put in a trunk? I'm just kidding. Dan Buffa live from Princeton Heights. I was called by Patrick Morris the Prince of Princeton Heights. Well, I am checking in, and what I can tell you is that the Cardinals didn't get Juan Soto. He's going to the Padres for a monstrous haul that, yes, maybe the Cardinals could have matched. Maybe they couldn't have. Nobody will know until we see what develops. And before I get into it, we can't grade this thing for a while. Everybody's going to jump on Mozeliak. The same people who jump on Mozeliak would have said, "Well, that's too much. I'm gonna burn my Dylan Carlson jersey." It could have come down to the fact that John Mozeliak and the Cardinals, Bill DeWitt Jr., and Michael Gersh, the GM, the official GM, just said, we don't want to give possibly Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, Nolan Gorman, and Dylan Carlson, maybe a Gordon Crisefo, who is in the minor leagues, going to be in the bullpen, could be a big piece. Tink Hence was also discussed. All these players, but is Kyle Reese, who is the first person that I wanted to hear from after the deal was announced, because I just think when it comes to prospects, the Cardinals prospects, and also a general knowledge of other people's prospects, I think Kyle just knows his shit. So Birds on the Black, go check him out. For now, you get me, the less talented sports bald guy in St. Louis, once called the stupidest man in St. Louis, once called the most polarizing man on Cardinals Twitter. I'm all of it. This show is brought to you by, it's just going to be every video podcast I do, I'm just going to give a shout out. That's going to be my sponsor. Mine unpaid because, hey, we're grinding it, baby. But I'm going to say this is sponsored by the great establishment that needs our help right now, Southwest Diner. Look them up. They've taken some flood damage. When they do open, go eat there. They have a GoFundMe located on the owner's page, Jonathan Jones, on his Facebook page. Go donate, because we can't take these things for granted. We can't take them for granted. Yes, that is my Chewbacca text message alert. But getting back to it, the Cardinals didn't get him, but they did get last night Jose Quintana, who isn't Juan Soto. He can't hit 50 home runs a year, but he will help stabilize the rotation. So let's look at what they did get before we dive into that abyss that is now over, because, it's just about final. Jose Quintana was pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates, which means he was pitching in hell and pitching for a team that's just not going to contend for a long time. So he put up very good ERA. His ERA was right around 3.50. That's very good pitching for the Pirates. His fielding independent pitching, FIP, when you see it on baseballreference.com, that means his fielding independent pitching. That is, if you took his defense away, how many outs could the pitcher get, realistically speaking. So he's going to help. He's going to give the Cardinals the trusted innings. He doesn't walk guys. He doesn't allow home runs. He doesn't strike out a ton, but he doesn't strike out a little either. He misses bats. He will definitely work off the great defense of the Cardinals that has, according to Bernie Miklasz, saved 43 runs on the infield alone. For all the people that don't want to get into sabermetrics, you can download that one stat, defensive runs saved, DRS. That's like what Harrison Bader has made a career out of. That's what guys like Tyler O'Neill helps get his Gold Glove status, by being positive in that department. You're helping your team. So, you get a guy like Jose Quintana, and he's going to fit right in. But having said that, and let me just banish this stupid comparison that got out last night. This is not John Lester and J.A. Happ. They are at the end of their career. They literally both retired at the end of the season. And they're like, we need to throw the rotation of the one of the most proud franchises on our back. We're fucking tired. So they retired. But this guy, yeah, he's 33 years old. He's kind of up there in age. Yes, you would have loved to have him when he was pitching for the White Sox, the Cubs, the Pirates. But, you get him now, and he's still effective. But what Mozeliak has to do, since he's the whipping boy, that's just how I address it. It's nobody else at the Cardinals front office except for, everybody, I am now the most hated man in America, or in the Midwest, or in St. Louis. Royals fans don't mind the Cardinals not getting a generational talent. And let's just get into that. We've covered that they got Quintana. They need to do more. That has to be known. If 5 p.m. comes today and they don't do more, they're not taking this season seriously. And they're not taking the fact that Nolan Arenado could still opt out. Don't listen to a word that he says or even what I say. If I think he's not going to opt out, a couple weeks from now or in 2 months when the Cardinals don't make the playoffs, or if they do make the playoffs and they don't do much, and he leaves, then you can really scream. But the bright side, the silver linings are that the Milwaukee Brewers traded their star closer, Josh Hader, to the Padres, which just means the Padres are going to win the World Series this year unless the Cardinals go out and get another really good pitcher. If they go out and get Carlos Rodon from the San Francisco Giants, a lefty, crafty, can be a very formidable number two in this rotation. And with Wainwright and Michaelis and Quintana and possibly Rodon, and then or maybe Syndergaard, because he isn't going to cost as much as Carlos Rodon and a Jock Peterson, who could come over from the Giants in that deal. So the Cardinals could get an outfielder, which they kind of need right now, with Bader's plantar fasciitis kind of still barking and keeping him from the lineup from rehab, and Tyler O'Neill, who just can't stay healthy right now. So they need an outfielder, and Jock Peterson could probably be a nice little poor man's producer. Now, not somebody that's going to come in and lift the lineup up, but let me remind you again that statistically speaking, go to MLB.com team stats or ESPN team stats, and just the Cardinals have a solid offense. It's not remarkable, but in some cases, it is a top 10 offense, at least when it comes to on base percentage. They can slug. Remember when the Cardinals teams couldn't really hit home runs? This Cardinal team can hit home runs. And what they needed the whole season, every team needs a Soto. The Padres could have used a Soto. They got him. The Dodgers could have used him. The Braves could have used him. Every team in the league is going to use a talent like that. But the Cardinals chose to keep their talent. We don't know what the Nationals were asking for from the Cardinals. This is where it gets really murky, is what is released by John Morosi, Jeff Passan, Ken Rosenthal, all the national reporters, and then what is actually offered. And then also what Kyle also noted recently in the last hour was that, you don't know how other organizations look at not just a Jordan Palmer, but Jordan Palmer, my former, let's just say my former digital writing mentor and partner in crime, Jordan Walker. They may have loved him, but maybe they didn't think Mason Wynn was as high as they wanted. Maybe they didn't want Mason Wynn and they wanted Gorman and Carlson. The Cardinals just, you give them two viable players out of your starting lineup to a guy that you're going to have for 2.5 years. And yeah, I'm not going to roast him over that, especially until we know what he got. Until 5 p.m., a little bit less than 3 hours, 2 hours and 52 minutes as I stare at my computer clock. So, and once again, we are watching In the Buff. We've done a few episodes of this. We're kicking it off. And what better way to just get out there and discuss with the world what is going on? We need more people in here. One person is watching this. That's not my mom. She doesn't even probably know that YouTube exists except for videos of beagles, which is probably the way it should be. But getting back on subject, you can bark at Mo for not getting Soto, but you have to wait to see what he does first. Now, 5 p.m. comes along, and all they got was Quintana, who's going to slide right into the rotation, but you still have some needs in your field. You still have some injuries. Two starters will be great. They got Chris Stratton from the Pirates to throw into the bullpen, but he hasn't really had a great year. Again, playing in hell, Pittsburgh right now, the really contending baseball team. Hell, I mean, that in Cincinnati, they're just not going to be doing anything. So they're just like, pariahs. They're pinatas for the other teams to beat up on. But the Cardinals still can win this division if they can take advantage of a soft schedule, take advantage of the fact that the Brewers don't have a shutdown closer anymore, and they are going to be playing the Brewers in the last couple months of the season. They have to take advantage of all that, but they would put themselves in a better position if they just wiped away the tears, scratch, clean the dirt off their knees, get back on your feet and go get another starter and possibly a bat just in case another injury happens with the lineup. That's what you have to really start thinking about. So Cardinals don't get Soto. They got Quintana. There's a little bit less than 3 hours left in the deadline. And I mean, look, Jeff Passan put it out pretty straightforward on MLB Network after the deal was being finalized. He said the same amount of talent is going back to Washington that is going to San Diego. They put in I want to say 5 or 6 players in that deal. And again, the Cardinal fans who will blast Mo right now, some of them would blast him or would be blasting him if he had made this trade. They just go, well, Soto's hitting 246 and he doesn't play good defense. And you just sent a guy and Carlson who plays great defense and Gorman who has so much pop. They wouldn't have done this. That's why it's so nauseating to get roped up in this. Let's blame the front office 2 or 3 hours after the thing is being announced. It's not even really finalized yet. But let's just go ahead and complain. You have to let the pieces settle in before you start throwing darts. And somebody commented on Twitter. They said, well, what if the Padres win a World Series and the Cardinals don't win shit the next 3 years? Well, then it was a failure. Then you can go, the narrator pops up and goes, well, it appears that the Cardinals made a bad decision. Or if it was the movie trailer guy, the Cardinals chose not to go all in. They half-assed it. Not what Ron Swanson used to say, you full-ass it. Well, the Cardinals can still full-ass it. And yes, they will be making up for what they didn't do in the offseason. Yes, Carlos Rodon and Jock Peterson and Quintana, they kind of had all those guys in the, but you know what? They didn't do it. And I wrote thousands of words about why are they not doing it. So what is the worth in just going, wow, they didn't do it? Yeah, live in the past. It gets old and it gets tiring. The present says that the Cardinals are still in on other pitchers. I don't think they're done. Don't listen to even the esteemed and very good at their jobs, Derek Gould and Katie Woo. The team is not going to give them everything. They don't have to give them everything. They have to give reporters something to report, something to feed the masses that are getting ready to head down to Busch Stadium and refund all their jerseys, which they won't. Okay, the ballpark tonight will be packed. You know why? Because at home, Cardinal fans are tough. But in the end, they're going to go down there and they're going to pack the stadium to see Wainwright throw baseballs to Yadier Molina and hopefully see the Cardinals start to pound on the Cubs and the NL Central and take over this damn division. This is where it's going to go really bad. If the Cardinals win the division, let's say they pick up another pitcher, Rodon, Syndergaard, Lopez, whoever, and they make a run. They win the divisional series. They avoid the wild card series. They win that first series and they advance, and somehow they get to the pennant. And let's say they do some damage. They go up against the mighty Padres and against Soto, and they lose 4-2. You can say, okay, if they had Soto, they would have won the series. No shit. But let's see what happens. And it all starts with 5 p.m. Does he make any more moves? If the Cardinals somehow don't make another move, don't make the playoffs or slide in on a wild card and get bashed, then you can go ahead and aim your verbal shots at Mozeliak and Gersh and DeWitt. But until then, let's see what happens. This has been Dan Buffa. This is In the Buff. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends. Don't tell me you can't find it. I post this link every day when I do a video on my Facebook page and my Twitter pages, which are at Buff82, the Film Buffa for the movie stuff, and Sports Buffa at STL Sports Desk for the baseball stuff, where you will find this link. So be patient, stay ready, and hope that the Cardinals do something to at least make this division race kind of a dead one. Because if not, if they lose that, then Mozeliak and that front office deserve every arrow that's coming for them that didn't come for the Game of Thrones finale. This is Dan. See you later. Be safe and relax.